guys had the tendency too, I know. Right? It was a tendency, brother. You see? Just fortunate I wind up still in the right stuff. You know, books and things. You know what I mean? Thank God. You see? But I stole my share of books. You see? But it could have just as easily been your television set. You see? Or your car. It didn't make no. So we all, you see, have these tendencies in them that we have brought over that are rooted in the level of our mind, and we are addicted in that sense, brother.
Is there any external factors? I know we're talking about the internal,
yeah.
But what about the world? I mean, how does that contribute?
Yeah, actually, the world and our whole experience of the world is generated out of the context of these scholars. How we react to the world is the same. But what for instance, like when we see an event, two people never see the same event the same. You know, one will see it as tragic, one will see it as justice or something. You understand? What is causing them to see the same event different, the same reality different? It is that predisposition of how to view anything that has been set up and carried over in the mind. So our mind dictates how we even experience the world. Even what we experience in the world is really interesting. Even the things that we experience, the events, for instance, have you ever thought about it? Why certain events flow to you? You know, the events that occur in your life are unique to you. The events that occur in our life is unique to her. And all of those events then are manifestations. It's almost like see the mind like a magnet, and it draws to itself those experiences that fit in. And so this mind and slash magnet phenomenon pulls suffering through, or it pulls bliss. Depends on the quality of your mind. That's why the mystics say that only by engaging seriously in sadhana, in spiritual practice, can we improve the quality of this mind, and thereby improve the quality of our experience. But there's no other way other than through a serious spiritual effort. It was interesting. Sadarji and I was talking, and he was saying, well, you know, you may pop off and die. I've been listening to this Bardo talk, right? He said, now, and I have some concerns about that because you still got some stuff you've been holding out, and et cetera, et cetera. So he said that I have to. He said, therefore, we need to create a special kind of circumstance that at least I get a chance to get this stuff. Because we don't know when you're going nowhere, right? I mean, it makes sense to me because he's right. I don't know, he don't know. So you see, we were in a dilemma. So I said, okay, well, you know, you come get it, I'll give it to you, but if I'm not here, okay, don't hold me responsible. You know, what can I do, right? And so he said, well, then we need to create a kind of, another level, if you will, of satsang, right? Where the understanding is that we're working on the realization that, hey, we might be out of here. Not only I might be out of here, but I told him, I reminded him, you know, it could be the other way around, Sadarji, right? You may be out of here, right? I mean, it cuts both ways, right? So we both now mutually understand the urgency of the transmission of teachings. One of my own personal motivation that lurks behind all of this, okay, but is rooted in the motherhood. You see, the motherhood of English, right? And that is the best way, that the most that I can do is to work on attaining enlightenment and sharing the Dharma, the teachings. By sharing the Dharma, the teachings, the instructions, it is the best way I know how to repay you for your kindness, your tenderness, loving tenderness you shared on me in a previous birth. I know no other way. By sharing Dharma with you, harassing you, maybe I can break through your delusion and help you see the causes of happiness. how to have it and how to avoid suffering and its causes, you know, bring you out of that thing, you see. So with Sadaji, it's the same thing. So with this mother being, you see, I say, okay, then we will do that. And so one of the things that, and you can talk to him later on if you too feel that I might pop off, but if you feel I'll be here forever, fine. Don't talk to them. You know, there's no need for it. But one of the things that I want very badly to do before the breath runs out here is to really go to the next level. See, this is nice, but these are lectures. You see, this is not spiritual training. I'm not giving you spiritual training. I'm giving you spiritual information. But it's just information. You see, there has to be a process that we engage in that transforms this information into practice, into experience. You see, I don't want you to come away from your exposure to the Dharma with just a belief. Don't ever accept belief in place of experience. You shortchange yourself. Go for the experience while you got this birth. That is one of the great tragedies in Western culture, is that we, and because of the atrocities and damage done to the Christian tradition, the Judeo-Christian tradition, we all have substituted beliefs for experiences. Now we believe in what the Torah says, but we have not experienced it. And that's just fine with us. We'll go with the belief. We believe in the Bible. Now your belief is enough. And that wasn't the way it was in the beginning of these great traditions. Even in the Christian tradition, the early proponents of Christianity were what they called the pneumatics. You see, these were mystics. These were men and women who had attained Christ consciousness. And then, of course, as we all know from history, with the co-optation of the teachings and etc., now a laity and priesthood came into being, where now you can simply believe, you see, and be saved. And we carry that over whenever we hear Dhamma now. And I don't want to do that to you. I don't want to make you comfortable with your beliefs. I want to shake you up and remind you that your beliefs in the Dhamma is meaningless. If you do only that, but you have to go to the next step. So with Sadaji, I've said, then what we will do, we will move to another level, you see. But we could do spiritual training. Some of you, for sure, even though you have been given initiation in a technique, but you don't use it because it's not in the context of a training, you see. And so I promise Sadaji, and I'll keep my promise, Sadaji. I always keep my promise. And then we will set up a training. And in that spiritual training, the satsangs will still have information, but it'll be very different in the sense that I would like to take the very systematic approach now to training those who wish to be trained. And only if you wish to be trained, you understand? And the application and implementation of the teaching, the actual implementation of the Dhamma, finding those views that we talked about. There's a lot of them, you see, and I want to take you through that training. It takes some time, you see. We're going to have to make some sacrifices collectively, you see. I told Sadaji to go win the lottery so I don't have to work, and I'll teach him from sun up to sundown. I have no problem with that, you see. No problem whatsoever, you see.
How much do we have to win?
Not much, because my needs are simple. You know, I'm a vegetarian, so bread and cheese and fruit, that's enough for me, you know, right? Pay my few bills and that's it. So Sadaji is to say, okay, he'll find a way to do that. I said, okay, if you can find a way, good. I'll teach from sun up to sundown. I have no problem with that. I have absolutely no problem. Want to do that, you see. Circumstances has to be created for that to take place. And so, since he seems to be so hell-bent on becoming enlightened, right, that I thought that it would be only right that I respond in kind. So he's aware of all of that, and you all do feel free to talk to him about that. But the idea behind that is that we'll get a chance to really encounter some spiritual training. Now we're going to start training. Not just giving you some information, but training. There's a whole beautiful set of trainings called the Lambrem trainings. this comes out of the Tibetan tradition. Beautiful. There's so much in the Radhasomi Dharma that we have not talked about yet. There's so much more in the Radha, in the Dharma of ancient Ra systems of spirit. I mean, so much. But those are trainings, you see. They only can, and we won't even film them because they do not lend themselves. So all this will end in the training sessions, you see. There's no filming at all because this is about training now. You know, you can film lectures. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, we're just lecturing. We're just having a nice, comfortable chat about spiritual things. But when we go into training, we don't want no distractions. You know, we want to train, and we will go deep into the spiritual training. You see, and through about 12 different phases of the training. And so there has to be another level of commitment on the behalf of that individual. You see, because we're playing at a different level now, right? That person has to be willing to submit to discipline. You see, must be willing to discipline themselves now. You see, when it's not cute when you miss your meditation. Right now you see it's cute. Oh, Bhagwan, you know, I can't meditate. He, just like step and fetch. You know, this kind of step and fetch behavior. You know, in training, that has to go. It's like honor. You understand? And when your drill sergeant come into the dorm, he say, you know, get your ass up. It ain't no, well, you know, sergeant, I had a heart. No, it's 4 o'clock. Up. Attention. You see what I'm saying? This is training. So it'll be kind of like a boot camp in that respect. So those of you who don't like, you know, to come under discipline, you might want to stay at the lecture level for now. You see, until you really feel in your heart, like Sadaji, that this is something that has captured you beyond the level of just information, that you really want to attain enlightenment. Because you have to undergo a certain training. That's the whole purpose, you know, of finding these roshis and these rebbes and these gurus and masters. That's the whole. Why are you going to have a master if you don't want to attain enlightenment? It's pointless. You see what I'm saying? So don't waste it. So it's a different level. So you have to be willing to really discipline yourself. Self-discipline has to really be a very, very deep commitment. Right? But you're no longer looking for excuses why you miss it and all this other stuff. All that is gone. You become serious about it. You see? Because these are your mother beings who are dependent upon your opinion in life. Right? The other thing, of course, is that we have to get established in the right views, though. That love and compassion. That will be the first thing that has to be generated. In the training, you got to deal, and you got to be able to function out of the motherhood of all beings. Otherwise, you can't be trained. It's going to be too difficult to train you. You won't have the depth to be trained. You see my point? So so one has to be established in that view. You see? And then of course we have to do what we have to do in order to maintain and perpetuate the context in which we can train. You see? So we have to do whatever we can do. You see? And we have to find a little place. You're most welcome to drive to my house in Bolingbrook, but that might be difficult for you see? But you're most welcome, you see? Just don't come with any bullshit. You see what I'm saying? Come to be trained. You're most welcome. And we would do that, or are you going to win the lottery incidentally, Sadaji? If Sadaji hit it big, Bilal is trying to sell the cookies like they out of business now because he too recognizes that, you know, he's older than me and he know he's close to death, so it only follows logically that I'm also close to death, right? So he's recognized that, so we'll see what happens between their efforts. But the point is that you all are most welcome to and invited to enter to that higher level of training. Although I hope that we do continue to have these. I enjoy these immensely as well. They have that.